Alright, what's up, congratulators? Welcome. It's a new week, it's a new video. I'm Xavier Garcia and this is the Ultimate Psychology channel. I'm creating awesome videos to cure all your life, and that's what we're about here. Today I'm going to go on a freestyle rant or rave or whatever. I didn't have any notes prepared, no idea came to me. And I said sometimes, you got to wing it. Sometimes that's life. I had an example, just this week with my daughter, and she was struggling trying to find the words to reconcile our relationship, and it was difficult for her. And I was like, she didn't know what to say. Daddy, I don't know what to say. And it's just like, Mija, like, it doesn't matter if you have the relationship skill set, but you can still have faith. And I was like, that's kind of a great learning lesson. Sometimes we're not prepared. Sometimes we're not equipped, but we can have faith that we can get through a situation. We listen to our hearts, listen to the Holy Spirit. For the Christians out there, you can understand with that. But just even for yourselves, you have intuition, and you can use your own wisdom at any age. And obviously when you're new to life, but this can go to any situation. You have nothing to compare to say where, I've been through a situation like this and I know I can get through it again. Sometimes we try to like corner ourselves into these boxes where we're so in control of our lives. We're masters at what we do, but we're also limited in our growth because we're so concentrated on certainty and having security in our life and being in control that there's no growth, because we know what happens, when it happens, how it happens, and why it happens. And yeah, it looks like, okay, yeah, we're a great success because we're in control of our environment, but you're not really growing as a human being. It's just stagnant water. There's no flow. The river of life is not flowing, running through you. And that's really no life at all, right? I mean, we have to have situations where, we dominate, we conquer, we do what we do, we master our craft. But then there's just also another part of life where we have to be open to being serendipitous and allowing things to unfold, because there's a greater future out there for you. And if you stay stuck in a rut, even if it's like a positive or a comfy place like your comfort zone, that's no good for you. So, I want to encourage you to look around in your world right now. And if you're living, maybe you're a freestyle person. Maybe you love, you're an adrenaline junkie and you're a thrill seeker and you can't stand the mundane or certainty of things. You want to be on the cutting edge and you find new experiences to push yourself to new limits and finding the edge of life for you in your life. And in that case, well, maybe this video is not for you. Hey, I'll just encourage you to keep pursuing what thrills you, what delights you, and to experience all that life has to offer. And at the end of the day, if you're not in that camp, then that's what this video is for, right? Because you can't limit your life. You can't put restrictions in. Like I said, if you're out there and you're being in control of your environment, we have to have those places where we master our craft, and we know that that's taken care of, especially in certain areas. But like if you look at like financially, you want to be financially secure, because that might be adventurous, trying to use your shrewdness or your cunningness to try to be paycheck to paycheck and trying to pinch pennies, and that might be dramatic, right? That might be an adventure, but that's really probably not healthy, right? Trying to be always in survival mode. We got these airplanes where I'm at, but we keep rolling with it. It's okay. We want to get in a place that we want something secure. We have to have preparation and total preparation. If an emergency comes, an earthquake strikes, a hurricane, a fire, we want to be prepared for these things, whether we get insurance. And sometimes we just have to let go and let God and let things be as they be. But you also don't want to get caught off guard. You don't want to be thinking that was foolish and I should have quit playing around and stockpiled for an event, because emergencies do come. And we want to be prepared for them as much as possible. And when they do hit, and if they are overwhelming, which they can be overloading, the death or loss of a loved one that was unexpected, those things are not cool, right? And if we're not prepared for them emotionally, psychologically, physically, or financially, or whatever, we're going to get blindsided. It's going to set us back 10 years or whatever. And but you have to know that when those circumstances do come, there's a grieving process. So there's oh shoot, what are we going to do next? Yeah, you have to start asking those important questions. Start and look who's around you, who's your team, if you have a team. Sometimes it's lonely. Sometimes you have nobody to go to. And that's a part of life too. You have to find out who you are, what you're made of. You have to get down on your knees and pray out to God. I remember I've done that, right? That was kind of one of my first testimonies is my life seemed like a Groundhog Day, and I was going through the same thing day after day, and I don't know how long it lasted for. And I felt no growth, no changes, and I was kind of limited in my identity. So my identity kind of held me back because I never really envisioned myself who I was going to be after high school. I remember, I graduated high school. We had our ceremony. I had my 20-year high school reunion coming up, and don't mind if I go on tangents. This is the ultimate psychology. So we got, we're very expansive here. I might not even finish with the point that I wanted to make, and that's okay. This is a conversation that I'm having with you. Leave some likes and some comments, of course, so that we can engage. I want to appreciate Jose Torres out there. Thanks, buddy, for watching the videos and liking them and getting your feedback, your commentary every week. Love you, man. Thanks for all the support and encouragement. I respect that. And for anybody else out there who's watching these videos, some of you guys don't comment, but I want to encourage you too. And for the people who do, thanks very much, because this is how we're going to continue this channel growing. This is the Ultimate Psychology channel. There's no other channel out there like this. I mean, there hasn't been one before, right? I remember telling people like, hey, there's going to be, I'm creating the Ultimate Psychology channel. And they're like, that sounds so common. Like, there's probably 100 of those channels already. And I was like, no, look it up. I saved the channel, you look at it, and I'm the first handsome face to pop up, right? And right now we're only like at 49, 50 subscribers. And I want to thank each and every one of you. It motivates me to keep going. With or without you, I keep going, right? Because when you have a passion, you have a love for something, you keep doing it without the kudos. But having you guys here, it gives me something to look forward to. And this is the community that we want to create. And for you guys, of course, amongst each other too, you guys can engage with each other's comments and see what we're building here, what we're cooking. But I was kind of saying something about a limited identity with high school, because I couldn't see past that. The whole thing was I was trying to achieve, graduate high school for my dad. He didn't graduate high school. His dad didn't graduate high school. It wasn't that big of a deal, but he saw in his adult life the drawbacks from not having that degree, even in minor ways. And of course now today, a high school diploma isn't as significant as it once was, especially when we live in this land of opportunity. You can make money in a million ways. You can make a fortune in a whole bunch of ways. So, but once I did that, it's just like, okay, what do I do now? Like, what do I want to do, and which direction do I want to go and take in my life? Because now I'm an adult. I'm 18. I was thinking at the time, and I don't want to just be a homebody for the rest of my life. I got to grow up and make something of myself. But it took some pain and some discomfort for me to start having those realizations, because I was 18, 19, 20 years at home, not going to college. I went to junior college for a minute, and I had so much confusion in life because I had my certain worldview. And a worldview is something that you amass over time. And when you realize that that's wrong, or it's faulty, or it's just not as sound as it could be when comparison, because you have your childhood and you have your view of life in the world, and then you actually get into the real world, and you're an adult, and you have to pay taxes, and you have to make money so that you can live, so support yourself. I remember looking in the refrigerator door when I'm 18, 19 years old. I'm like, I never had this thought before, because mom always took care of me. Mom and stepdad took care of me. But I opened the door, and there was a lot of animosity and struggle in the house, because my stepdad wanted me to work, but he didn't want to cross his boundaries, with telling me what to do. That was just kind of the dynamics of the household. But I opened the refrigerator door. I'm like, I didn't pay for any of that food. Like, none of that's mine. And then I kind of went on a fast, because it was like, I didn't pay for it and I didn't want to eat it. And that was probably pretty extreme. But so I had to make a shift. And I remember looking in the mirror and I forget where I was going with this, but this is how we roll. We ramble, we talk. And but I remember hitting a rock bottom point where I had to get down on my knees and I prayed to God, and I didn't even know what to pray for. But I did ask him to make me a man of integrity, a man of great character. Hopefully, and that would be including some courage to go out there and go into the unknown, into this world of adulthood. And it took me a long journey You know, I went through relationships, I went through financial struggles. You know, that was an emotional low and rock bottom. I went down, and through all that whole journey, I didn't know what it was for. You know, and then I discovered like motivational speakers. I'm like, that's cool. That's really cool. And I found my calling. And you know, I pursued it so much, and everybody's like, well, what are you doing? You're getting brainwashed. That stuff's brainwashing you. You need to go back to school. You need to go to the military. And it took great courage and tremendous faith, because I was leaving skill sets on the table. I could have had a great life in the military. I could have learned so many life skills there. I could have went to school, got an education that can prepare me for like a great job, right? And I know some people are like bashing college and like, just go out there and you know, go make something of yourself. You can get more real life experience without a degree. You know, and that's a 50-50 you know, kind of statement, because that's not for everybody. It's not meant for everybody to go out there and be an entrepreneur. You can still live a great life, create a great life, create the life of your destiny, and still kind of like, you know, work for somebody else. So it's not always, you know, that's not a cookie cutter expression. So that may be for you, and that's the kind of encouragement you need to drop out of school and go your own way, because in a way I kind of did, but it was a lot of like bitter and suffering, like nail biting, and I had to survive tooth and nail. And then nobody wants to support you because you're not doing what they want you to do. And so yeah, that was kind of miserable. But hindsight, there was a certain faith inside of myself that I didn't have competency at adulting, right? But I persevered, and sometimes it felt like, again, it was in vain. But I started making little adjustments, started gaining more knowledge with the books that I was reading, and started seeing a bigger future for myself. You know, now I'm sitting here at 37. I haven't kind of broken through on the other side of the financial side, or even presenting great content here in terms of that it's going to go viral, or it's going to touch lots of lives and transform them. But I believe I'm already on that path. I'm already kind of on the other side of the dark night of my soul. I went through that, and I want to share that because, you know, maybe you're going through that right now. Maybe you're going through that, you don't know it. Or maybe it's something you've been through and it's something you can relate to, and maybe it's refreshing to be like, God, I know what that was like, and it feels good to have another soul out there, another brother on the path. And yeah, we've been there, done that. And of course, there's new heights, there's new horizons, new adventures, new frontiers to explore and to you know, to conquer and divide out there. But you know, we live in a land of plenty. At least that's the growth mindset that we have now. When you look around, it is. We live in a promised land, and you know, there's no reason for us not to be successful or living life on our terms, where we can go from glory to glory and live out great and total happiness. But if you're mired down, if you're bogged down, and you're kind of narrow-minded or ignorant to what's available to you because of, not by any of your own fault necessarily. Yeah, maybe you're lazy, or maybe you're an excuse maker, but maybe you're not. Maybe, you know, you were given a set of beliefs, and you were in a structured dynamics and network from your friends and family, from your community, your neighborhood, and you have a certain way of looking at the world, and you kind of become a product of your environment, and that's tough. But you know, you can still break through all those limitations. It doesn't matter your gender, it doesn't matter your race, your age. You know, God made you for a specific purpose, and He wants to see you come to that fruition, right? There's seeds, and these seeds are meant to grow into beautiful blossoming flowers, right? And you're meant to have your day in the sun. So don't give up. If you're struggling to find your way, if you don't even have an identity, that's the worst place. At least, like, once you get an identity or a will or a fire or a desire to start going in a different direction, you can start creating momentum for yourself. But having it in place and not having an identity, yeah, that's the worst, man. I remember a girl had dumped me because she said, you know, you don't know who you are. And it was so sad because I loved her so much. But she was already, you know, girls mature faster, so to speak. And she was ready to move on. And I couldn't hold her back. I just couldn't. And it broke my heart. But it was that kind of sorrowful experience that made me dig deeper. And it's not like I discovered it overnight. It took days and hours and months and years, perhaps, to kind of get to where I felt good about myself and I have security in my own manhood. You know, I'm no longer posturing or trying to fake it to make it, which is kind of a common thing to, when you're trying to get through something and you don't have the skills, you fake it to make it. And I didn't, you do got to put your best effort when you're doing something. And kind of one example that I want to get to is, I don't know nothing about fishing. I don't know hardly anything about cars, but I can still approach those situations as a man of respect. So if my father-in-law is taking me out fishing, I don't know how to bait a hook, I don't have to sit there and look like a little girl, so to speak, and make excuses that I don't know how to do something. I can ask like a man, is this how you do this? Is this how you do that? And, people are willing to help you, as long as you don't look like a little punk. When it comes to fixing a car, I take my car into the dealership or whatever. I ask for oil change. It's kind of embarrassing because I didn't have a father to show me that or teach me that. Or I did, and he had the skills, but I was maybe too busy wanting to play basketball or wanting to play video games, and I never had the chance to learn how to do something as simple as changing your oil. My wife knows how to do it. It's kind of embarrassing. It's a joke. I'm not embarrassed about it anymore, but if I pull up because we don't have time to do it or change it ourselves, and of course we don't want to spend the money when we can do it ourselves, but if you have the money and it saves you time, then it's cool. It's all good. Have someone else do it so you can focus your time on more important and valuable tasks that can benefit you and what your biggest goals are. But I'll pull up and I can still hold my head high and keep my own dignity and not worry about their judgments or what they might be thinking about, because if you hold yourself with a standard of respect, then they're more likely inclined to see you in the same respect. So you really got to hold your own when it comes to doing something new. Another example, I had a buddy come out, and we got a dog here. These guys are cute. They're beautiful. I'm at Dog Beach in San Diego. What's up, buddy? So I'm where was I at? My buddy needed some help at a job, and he needed anyone who could help. And we're sharing stories because people even get paid and they have no clue what they're doing, and they get told what to do, and it's like they have no common sense. And you don't have to have a skill set, again, going back full circle, to do anything. You have to start where you are. We all start at zero. We all start at zero experience, and that's why we say no experience needed. You just come with a positive attitude, positive expectations, and I can do it spirit or an attitude, and some energy and some work ethic. And with a curiosity, you ask intelligent questions, just reasonable questions. How do you want this? Is this the way you want it to look? And then you go out and you set about going out and doing it. And when you have that kind of attitude, you learn on the way. You learn on the job, and that's a great way to do it. And so you got to take that attitude to wherever you go in whatever situation you're going to be in, because you're not always going to be prepared. You're not always going to be like, oh, I've done this a million times, right? Like, how many times have you tied your shoe? You've tied your shoe thousands of times. And of course you're expert at it, right? You're authority. You can explain it. You can make a YouTube video about how to tie your shoes. But you're not always going to be in those situations. And it's going to take some faith. And that's not like some super huge word that we're using in that context. But like, be self-assured. You can walk into a situation. You can ask questions. And you can continue to ask questions. People are willing to help you if you are earnestly trying to solve the problem or get an understanding. The same thing goes for your relationship. Like, honey, like, how can I love you better? How can I love you more? I don't feel like we're connecting right now. What can I do or change? Be prepared for the feedback. And obviously if they're kind-hearted, they're not mean-spirited, they're going to give you some honest, positive, productive criticism. But that's what you want. That's exactly what you want if you want to make a difference. And of course you do. You got to get out of your own way so that you can receive it. And when you do, you act upon it. You're not being a puppet. You're not being a robot where like, I'm just doing this because you told me, and now I feel like, you feel you've been emasculated or whatever. It's not that. They're showing you how to play the game so that you can win. You can score points. So I'm hoping you take this video with you. I'm actually going to check to see how much time I recorded to see if it's still recording. But I hope you take this with you. Anytime you go into a new environment and you haven't been there before, calm yourself down, breathe through it, and begin going at your own pace, asking questions, so that you can eventually get up to speed and you can be productive and feel successful, knowing that you've done a job well done. Yeah, because you're not always gonna have the opportunity to go unprepared, and so just have some good faith again, like I'm saying, and go in and get after it. Because there's only one way to learn, and that's just to roll up your sleeves, get your hands dirty, and sink or swim. You'll figure it out. Okay, have the trust and the confidence that you can figure it out, and you'll do a job well done. People love you. They want to support you. They encourage you. And anytime you start putting that kind of ambition or inclination, the universe will swoop in. God will swoop in to support you and see you through and see you until you become successful. So God bless you. Thank you for watching Xavier Garcia Ultimate Psychology channel. Until the next video, love with freedom. Peace.